Assalamu alaikum, audience. I hope that you will be doing good. Let's continue with our sessions. Today, we shall be discussing about the difference between change in demand and change in quantity demand. We have gone through with law of demand, what is demand, willingness, desire in our previous sessions, and now moving towards a new lesson, which is change in demand and change in quantity demanded. First of all, I would like to recall it. What is law of demand? Law of demand is when a change in price contracts or expands your quantity demanded. It may be may be an increase in demand or there may be a decrease in demand. Now moving towards change in demand. We have already discussed it, change in quantity demanded in our previous sessions. Today our core agenda is to go with this change in demand. First of all, we would like to have this again. At the price level of P1, the quantity demanded is Q1. As the price rises to P2, the quantity contracts to Q2. And when the price decreases to P3, the quantity extends from the original one to Q3. Here it is observed that a change in price is changing the quantity. Change in price is changing the quantity. Here we are making a change along the curve. Along the curve. Change along the curve. It may contract or it may extend. Here it is an extension and here there is a contraction. With an increase in price, the quantity demand is contracted to Q2, contraction. And with the decrease in price from P1 to P3, the quantity demanded exceeds from Q1 to Q3. This we have already discussed in our previous session. And we can reasonably conclude that a change in price changes makes a changes in quantity demanded. Now moving towards a change in demand. Change in demand. A change in demand occurs other than the price factor. We have discussed that the price changes the quantity demand. In our previous session, we have discussed it detailed. We have a quick review of it. Now moving towards this change in demand. Change in demand, the demand changes other than the price factors, such as your income level, maybe due to your income level, maybe due to weather, maybe due to habits, fashion, maybe due to prices of complementary goods, complementary goods or substitute goods. And there are many other factors too. Now making it understandable with the examples. What if we take the example of weather? Weather. In summer, in summer season, the demand for light clothes rises and the demand for warm clothes falls. If we assume that the price remains constant over the period of time, and the demand for the warm clothes in summer and in winter, the demand for warm clothes in winter rises. In winter, the demand for warm clothes rises, and in summer season, the demand for warm clothes falls. Here, it is a rightward shift, rising in demand, rising in demand, and a leftward shift, falling in demand. Here, moving towards another example, that what if the price of substitute goods rises or decreases? If the price of substitute good increases, the quantity demand for the current good will rise, because those who are using the substitute will also try to get the same good that we currently are having. And what if the price of complementary goods? Let's have an example of it. If the price of fuel rises, the quantity demand for the vehicle declines. We have observed a fall in demand for the vehicles when the price of oil rises. When the price of tennis balls rises, the quantity demanded for the demand for the bet. Sorry, not the quantity demanded. The demand for the bets gets shrink. So, an increase in price of a tennis ball decreases the demand. I falls the demand from D to D2, and a decrease in tennis ball prices, the demand rises to D1. Same with the income level. If you are earning high, then your demand for the superior goods, normal goods, will rise, and the demand for the inferior goods declines, falls. Same case with the fashion habit. It happens that if something is in fashion, the demand significantly rises, and if that fashion falls, or that fashion is the thing is not in fashion, its demand falls. Same with the what if the government bans, the government restrictions, like in COVID, we have observed that the tourism industry was in decline. There was no tourism. The demand for the air tickets fallen. However, the prices were same. Even the prices were down, but no one was willing to go move from one place to another place because of the government restrictions. Now, moving towards our study material. Here we continue with movement and change in demand. Movement and change in demand. What is a movement in demand? Movement in demand, movement in the same demand curve, a change in price due to a change in price. A change in price of a goods and services causes a movement along the demand curve. Yes, we have understood this with the diagram. Here, you can also observe that the demand for the price for the chocolate, if they are increasing, the quantity demand is decreasing, and the price, if from P1 to P2 declines, the quantity demand exceeds. It extends. Contraction and extension. It is observed on the same demand curve. Now moving towards, this is the illustration of it, making it more clear. Shift in demand curve, a change in non-price factor. The thing we have discussed is a price factor, that if there is an increase in or decrease in price, the quantity demand for that product falls. But what if other than any price, what if other factor changes other than the price? Now moving towards this, a change in all other non-price factors that affect demand such as income level will cause a shift. Yes, it causes a shift in demand. Shift from either to right, either to rise, or either to fall, either to left. An increase in demand rather than an increase in quantity demanded is represented by a rightward shift. Now moving towards what here it is, there is a rise in demand and there is a fall in demand at the same price level. The example that quoted here is, in summer, the demand for the ice cream shifted from D1 to D3. D1 to D3. In summer season, yes, it is observed that the prices, that the demand for the ice creams increases and it is a rise in demand. And the quantity demanded shifted from D1, Q1 to Q3. Yes, Q1 to Q3. There is a rise in demand from D1 to D3. Whereas in winter, from the demand for ice cream shifted from D1 to D2, and hence the quantity is also declining from Q1 to Q2. Hence the shift in demand, a fall in demand from D1 to uh, uh, D1 to D2. What are these non-price factors? What are these non-price factors? Now, here we will. It will be the last, and we will be concluding with this. A fall in demand. Let's say a fall in demand. A fall in demand. Why a fall in demand occurs? A demand for a product may cause as an increase in income, an increase in taxes on income. What if the taxes increases? The real income of an individual get decreases, and hence the demand shrinks to not shrinks, it move towards a leftward, and it decreases, it falls. A fall in price of substitute, yes, it is another factor. Then the customer will be shifting itself from the current good to a substitute good. A rise in price of complements, yes, the rise in price of petrol will fall the demand for cars. A product advertising cut back and ban, yes. What if the government decides to ban this product and do not advertise the product? Then definitely there will be a fall in demand for that product. A fall in population, yes, it is a major factor. That if that your population decreases, the demand falls for the product. A fall in consumer income, the same. Taxes rise. As the taxes rises, the consumer real income falls, and if the nominal income of a consumer falls, definitely there will be a fall in demand. Consumer taste, fashion for the product decreases, or it changes. A change in weather conditions, it is another factor. There we have discussed in our example. There is a fall in ice cream, the demand for ice cream in the winter. Moving towards rise in demand, what are the non-price factors that results in rise in demand, which are as a reduction in taxes on income? Yes, it is a factor that if the government decides to reduce the taxes, then definitely the consumer's real income is going to increase, and there will be a rise in demand for the product. A rise in price of substitute, yes, it is a factor. A rise in price of substitute, the other consumers who are consuming the substitute goods, they will now try to shift from that good to another good, and there will be a demand. There will be a rise in demand for that other good. A fall in price of complement. It is globally observed that when the prices of fuel declines, the demand for vehicles significantly rises. And now moving towards advertising for the product, yes, it is the Samsung Galaxy. How the demand rises, they definitely they spend a lot on advertisements. A rise in population, it will increase the demand. It will definitely rise the demand. Consumers income, nominal income. Here we are discussing about the real income, and here about the nominal income. Consumer taste, fashion, weather conditions. These are the things. I hope that you have found this thing useful, and examination point of view, it is really important. So examiner is going to put these factors in your scenario, and he will make a requirement of making a demand curve and show a shift in that, or along the curve there is a movement along the curve, he may ask. So try your best and work hard. Thank you.